I hear birds.
I hear birds too.
Oh, thank you. I was starting to worry.
Welcome, Marianne.
Thanks, Mark.
It's my birds.
Is that your father, the other one, Ruiz?
The
This
J.
on?
J. Senior.
Jay Senior, okay.
He's my zone chair.
Good.
Yeah, I want to share with you all something really, really quick. I learned something this last few months. It's very difficult being a guiding lion for a brand new club whose charter president is your daughter.
Good try.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
You mean she doesn't want to be your daughter anymore? Is that what you're saying?
Man, I tell you what, it's tough. You gotta draw that line, you know. It's hard for me to accept the fact that she's an adult and knows things. You know, she doesn't need me to tell her everything.
Exactly.
And then I have my 7-year-old granddaughter, her daughter, who says, you know, Nana, not everybody has to do what you say. Yeah, you know, that's just not good coming back at your face, you know?
That's a whole nother generation away.
Oh my gosh. You know, talk about, they have their own ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get started because I really value your time and I appreciate you all being here. We are very fortunate tonight or this morning because I've been on a meeting since 7 o'clock last night. I feel like that's all I'm doing. We're very fortunate because we have past International Director Jerome Thompson here with us tonight. And what makes that so exciting is he was right there in the depths of forming this presentation for this part of the GMA. So this is the guy that did it. So if you have questions and you want to know what's going on, this is the time to ask because you'll have the expert answering your questions. Before we begin though, I need to just go through everybody and give me about a 30-second to 1 minute update on how you're doing in building your team. And how about we start with Falguni? You're there at the bottom. I figured I'd start with you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Again, yes, building a vision has been in our district. First of all, we're getting to, since we started visitations with our district governor, we've been doing a lot of visitations and getting clubs motivated and making them feel as if, you know, all that connection lost over the time. And getting to know them, and then all these new members. We had a new member night, so recognition, and just an amazing amount of people who attended that. So getting to know all these new members as well as to what their vision is for service and to work in these times.
Okay, thank you. Linda, I'm only going to be asking, and I should tell you right now, we have more folks here than just the first VDGs. And the reason for that is we have people that want to learn what's going on. And so I opened up the meeting for those people who are not first VDGs. Would you please take an observer role and just listen to what's going on and let the first VDGs get their opportunity to talk and engage. One of the things I like to do is open up my meetings to people, because nothing we say in this meeting is super secret or personal to any one of us. So the more information that we can share and get, the better off we are. So with that, I'm going to ask Linda B how she's doing with her team.
Am I doing with what, Mark?
With your team.
First of all, would you please define team?
I'm going to actually ask PID Jerome to define team.
At this point in time, Linda B, can I call you Linda B, or you like Linda Barbara?
No, Linda B is perfect.
Linda B, I had the opportunity from the very beginning with Vice President Haynes, Vice President Bryan, myself, the steering committee to put this together. And we had a great long discussion about build a team, build a vision, or is it build a vision, build a team? And so today, as we talk about building a team, I'm thinking that your best bet is maybe identify those 3 or 4 people that you're going to surround yourself with that is really going to help you to make an impact. And they may or may not be your global service team, your leadership team, your membership team person, but you have those 4 or 5 in your district that you know that if something happens at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can call them and they'll get out of bed and help you. That's the team. As I move into my presentation, we're going to then talk about building a team of visionaries that are going to help you to build a vision for a better tomorrow. So as Lion Mark has asked about a team, I would think, do you have that core group that's sort of coming together that you're going to rely on next year? Is that a fair statement, Mark?
I think it's a perfect statement. Did that answer your question, Linda B?
Absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to know if you meant the whole giant team with including everyone on the cabinet plus the committees. But having said that and hearing what you have to say, Jerome, is I think I'm doing really well. I've got an awesome support team behind me. They're willing to do for me and do with me. So I'm very excited about it. And I'm pulling from their expertise and their knowledge because there's so many more seasoned lions than I am. So I'm feeling very comfortable with where I'm at right now. I hope everyone else is doing as well, but I'm good. I'm real good.
Okay. Now, Lion J, was that you that needs to go early? Okay. Oh, the other J Senior. How about we go with you first?
Oh, okay. Well, with my GAT team, my cabinet, well, I'll tell you what. Over the last couple of weeks, I know who I don't want to have back. We have to be honest with, what the individuals that are out there. Are they going to help benefit our district? Are they going to help benefit us when we have our cabinet? So one must be very meticulous on picking these people. I mean, forget the whole recycle. No, I don't need to recycle. But I do need to have due diligence and figure out who's the best fit that's able to work with me and the district and other people and the clubs. Right now, as it stands, unfortunately, there's no chemistry for some parts of the current GAT team. There's some strong points, there's some strong individuals, but there's some things that need to be worked on. So I'm almost there.
Okay. How about Jay
So-
Senior?
So good morning, everyone. And I was wondering, why am I Juan Ruiz when I'm Kalani Jose? And because I got the Zoom link from Jay, I am Juan Ruiz Senior.
Okay. I'm going to change your name.
I appreciate it. So to answer your question, because I know I got 30, 60 seconds, similarly to the other 2 VDGs, I've been getting a pulse of who's in the slot right now and if I want to have them. One of the things that I run my businesses with is heart, head, hands, feet. In order for me to work with somebody, you have to be in tune with my heart. And then if you're in tune with my heart, then I'll work on your head with my vision. Then I'll show you what we're looking to do. Then let's go do that. So right now I'm working on my org chart and looking at creating an org chart. And unless you can tell me later how I can get to one that's specific to MD4, so I don't miss any committees or I don't miss anything. So I'm just kind of seeing who's in the seat right now, having a conversation with them at different events, and then I'm not even offering anybody the position yet until I have that heart-to-heart conversation. Because, quite frankly, like Jay said, I don't even know if I want them to be part of my cabinet. So that's kind of where I'm at, coming from the Jay Senior Ruiz seat. Now, Dr. Kalani, mahalo.
I hope I spelled your last name correctly.
That's correct. Good morning, Mark.
Okay, good morning. Beverly, what about you? How's teams going?
She has to unmute, I think.
Do you want us to come back to you, Beverly? I'll tell you what, let's go to Linda A and see how she's doing.
Well, I do have 3 or 4 people that are going to be my advisors. They're super supportive of what I'm planning on doing. I have already asked about 5 people for positions because I've known them for a long time and I know where they're coming from and I know that we're on the same page to be on my cabinet. And a couple of them have said no. And I said, okay, not a problem. Thank you. And the rest of them have all said yes. So I'm that far there.
One thing I want to point out is that when somebody tells you no, it's probably not a good reason to keep asking them till they say yes, because they're giving you an honest assessment of where they are at that time. And sometimes we get to the point where we're just looking for bodies and we don't need just bodies. So I think you're making a wise choice there.
Yeah, when they've said no, I'm thank you very much. Can you tell me why you're saying no? And usually it's a family reason or they've already got, way too much on their plate or something like that. So it's fine. There's a lot of other people that can fill the slots that are good ones.
Cool. How about you, Faraday?
Well, mine is almost complete, and I had decided that I'm going to complete this list by the end of the year. Last night we had President's Night, and we had 300 guests, 300 members attending, very few guests. And there they were, on my team. I've been observing, I've been asking, and I have changed my mind several times, depending on what they're producing and what they're doing. And I'm very happy with what I have on my plate right now, and I'm on my list right now. So it is almost, I would say, about 90% complete.
Cool, thank
Yes.
you. And how about Gary, where you stand?
Mark, I have my GMT in place. He's an individual lion that has already started 2 clubs. He has the passion. He may not have the knowledge. So behind him, I have a former GMT who is being his advisor, and they're good friends and they're working together. I have my GST in place, and an advisor to help him. I have my LCIF coordinator in place, and I have someone that I really truly consider as a friend for my GLT. I've asked those 4 individuals to go ahead and start building their team because I believe they need to work with people that they are comfortable with. Thank you, Mark.
Well, thank you, Gary. Mary Ann, do you feel comfortable about bringing us up to speed on where Tim is?
Sure. He's working on his cabinet very diligently, trying to bring in new people, but also looking at positions such as GMT, GST, GAT. Of some positions, he believes that a little history of someone having done the position for a year or 2 is healthy. That some of these positions might take a year just to kind of learn what the position is about. So he is drawing on some people that have been in a position before or staying in a current position, but also looking to build with new members. He's like Linda A said, he's had a few no's and usually for personal reasons. So he's feeling real comfortable with where he is. I like his choices because I have to have relationships with them too in my support for Tim. So I'm pretty proud of where he is. He's got a ways to go, but he's working on it.
Well, thank you very much, Mary Ann. I appreciate it.
Sure.
And we have a couple more to go, and then we'll turn it over to PID Jerome. But Jerry,
Hi, good morning. I have people that are helping me. I haven't put any specific person in place yet, but I have people helping me and going over some choices I do have. And like I said, I haven't approached anybody yet to ask them, but I'm still working on who I want to select for these positions that will be beneficial to me and to the Lions Club, and moving on from there.
okay, thank you. And we're going to go to Jackie. How you doing with your team, Jackie?
Good morning. Good morning,
morning.
BDG and Lions. Well, I do not plan to talk today, so
This is
Well-
all you're going to have to talk today.
sure. Actually, I don't take no as an answer if I ask any cabinets. But the reason I say so is I always go to all the events and bring with my 2 sheet of a cabinet and committees list to start filling in. And
So you actually go around with a sheet of all the positions that you need to fill in?
yes.
Okay.
So every time, every event, no matter what kind of events, like a new charter, like orientation, or any kind of event, I start filling in people. And the reason I say I don't take no is because before I open my mouth, I talk to them about their goal in Lions. What do they do? What do they wish? What do they hope? And what do they do the best? After that, I start considering talking, narrow my topic to the specific Lion until I get answer yes. So
Okay.
yeah, so pretty much I have like 40 to 50% that
Not
prospective
bad.
Lions has been filled.
Not bad.
Yeah.
We're going to go now to Beverly, who's back with us, and I'm hoping she can get off mute. And while we're waiting for Beverly to get off mute, we're going to go to Lion Mandy. Oh, there she is. She's off mute now.
I don't have any sound, so I can't hear anything you're saying. I'm trying to
Oh,
get my speakers working, but all I can see is people's mouths moving. I don't hear any sound.
don't worry about it. I'm not sure what I can give you is help because you've already gotten off and got back on. Lion Mandy, and then we're going to end up with Lion Craig and move on.
Good morning.
Good
So
morning.
I'm trying to get a really healthy mix of past, present, and future so that we can get those folks that kind of have a hold on what's going on, and the current folks that are coming in and starting to learn and grow, and the folks with the new ideas so that we can have just a healthy mix. And I am really paying attention to people as I have one visitation left. We've done all of our visitations, and I have a handy dandy notebook where I write down people that have grabbed my attention, because I really want folks with higher energy to make sure that they'll mix with everyone and get out there and be social butterflies and create that relationship that we need. So I have spoken to everyone that are in their current position to see where they're at. I'm talking to the folks that have done their job about successors if they are wanting to move on so that they can bring them under their wing before their year is over and start kind of training them up. And I think we're doing pretty good. We're probably going to also rezone, which is going to help a lot of our issues, I think.
Cool. And we'll end up with Lion Craig.
Good morning, everyone. I am so glad, Jerome, that you said your support team, because if it was all of my cabinet and I'm supposed to have a bunch of it filled out, I felt very nervous kind of about picking, but I will say I do have probably 3 past district governors that are my support team. So I feel very fortunate that I can talk with them on a regular basis and get input, and kind of a cool plan. It's completely different, but I think we're going to invite 50 people or so to our clubhouse and do a SWOT analysis and see if we could identify, first of all, see what other people are thinking about our district and where it needs to go, how we can get better, where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, but also to identify maybe some unseen leaders or someone that doesn't stand out to bring and do training. The cool thing I'm excited about is we still have 6 months, and I'm hoping my governor is going to let me even do some training before we get to the handoff date, or normally like maybe 3 or 4 months in advance. So I'm excited about that. I just filled my cabinet secretary yesterday, and that was a biggie, but I'm excited. I'm excited.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. And what I want to tell everybody here is you guys are doing great. I can't wait till July 1st, because you guys are planning, you're thinking, you're doing the right things, and I'm excited. And now, without any further ado, I'm turning it over to PID Jerome.
Mark, we haven't heard from Melinda Blasi yet.
I'm sorry, Melinda. I saw your hand up and I totally forgot you. Thank you, Linda A.
Thank you, everybody. Good morning. And I want to thank PID Jerome Thompson to be our guest. And I had a privilege and honor to moderate the first GATT sessions at the USA Canada Forum back in I believe 2016 or 17. And thank you, Mark, for facilitating this this session. I am almost done with my GATT team. I have a great GAT, GST, GMT. I have been visiting the clubs for like the last 6-7 years. So I knew pretty much who I want to cultivate. And for the zones, I am actually gonna try and fulfill our current district governor's dream of having new emerging leaders. And I have quite a few.
You're back on mute, Melinda.
To be a zone chair, and pretty much they accepted the positions with with a smile. So they're very, very happy that I am including them as my team. So I have a few more to go for the zones, and then on the committees, I'm gonna keep some of the stuff that I know that are shakers and movers, and then replace them with lions or members that that can do the work. So it's nice to be able to visit them and get to know them. And for many years, pretty much. So when I took over this, I replaced Kevin Johnson.
Yeah, garbage can.
Pretty much everybody wants to be in my team. So I was very, very happy and very lucky. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Jerome, before I get into any more trouble for forgetting people, it's yours.
Oh, before I share my screen, because I can't see everyone's face, and I'd like, just by a show of hands, how many of you really wish that you had an opportunity to audition all the Lions in your district to pick out the leaders that you'd like to be on your cabinet team?
That would be good.
Wouldn't that be an awesome? And today I'm going to tell you how to hold that audition. The other thing is that you have a second vice district governor who's soon to be your first vice district governor when you're the district governor. Today is the day to embrace them. Because if you will embrace them today, then you're going to be able to get them to be on your team and an integral part of your team, and your year as a district governor is going to be better. And then we know, and Vice President Brian knows, that this is a out-of-the-box concept where that we're beginning to ask you to build teams and build visions and build plans and even to begin to build success. And so it's so important that your district governor also be on your team. And theoretically speaking, if in January, early February, you were to build a vision, and then late February to March, you begin to have your plan, by April, you're going to be ready to start building success. And so this is how that you get your district governor on board with you. And that is ask him or her to allow you to build a vision for the next 18 months. That would be the last 6 months of their year and your whole year. And then when you get your plan built, April, early May, start implementing that plan. Get a club for your current governor. And then with the understanding that he or she's going to help you to get your club in the first quarter of next year. And when we begin to work that way with your group, then next year as your second vice district governor, it becomes your first vice district governor. And they begin to build their plan in January, you know that we're all going to be able to work together, and we're just passing that baton from one to the other. What I've heard you say is, while I've listened, that it would be good to be able to audition people, that most of you have your core group of advisors, but you got to finish filling out your cabinet, that your second vice district governors need to be equipped, they need to be empowered, they need to be encouraged, as we're trying to equip, empower, and encourage you to take and do some things a little different. Because as Vice President Brian says, if you always do the things you've always done, you'll always get the results you've always gotten. And we've not always gotten good results. I really like, and I think it was Lion Mandy said that she was looking for a healthy mix of lions that was coming together to really take that district to a new level. And what I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes, once again, is how do we get this group of healthy mix of lions all working together. And so you're going to be excited if you'll give me about 35 minutes, and I get excited too about this part, because Vice President Haynes, Vice President Brian, and I, along with the steering committee, put this together. We've debated whether or not these questions should be in, should they be out. And actually 34A, my district, tested the first Build a Vision meeting as part of the North American Membership Initiative, followed by districts in Minnesota for Vice President Brian. And so I know it works, and I'll tell you why it works, because without this, during COVID, my district would have fallen apart. But because we had a plan of action, because people were connected, we were able to stay together. And I know early November is a little early to begin to talk about building teams and things of that nature. But when we get to January, then we're going to have to be hitting the ground running. So we're equipping you today for a job that needs to be done January, February of next year. Now, let me see if I can share my screen. And then I can't see your beautiful faces anymore. And so you'll just have to interrupt me if you have a question, and that's fine, because I don't mind at all. And we're going to talk about the global membership approach, the Build a Vision. This is the audition that it's going to, where you're going to bring everyone together in your district. We're going to talk about building that vision. We're going to talk a little bit about the goals and then your next steps. And then Area Leader Mark will talk with you about building the plan and building success in later months. As we begin this Build a Vision and this Build a Team, personally, I think that they could be interswapped and be equally as effective. You have your core advisors, and that is fantastic. But each of you have at least 800, 900, some of you as many as 1,500 lions in your district that you don't know what they really would like to do. And so what I'm going to suggest to you is when you schedule your Build a Vision meeting, invite every lion in your district to that meeting. What you're going to end up with is 35 to 40, based on the meetings I've facilitated where we've invited everyone, 35 or 40 Lions that show up. And when you make it a personal appeal to them, I use constant contact. So it would say, Lion Tim, thank you for being the president, or thank you for being a member of the XYZ Lions Club. We're building a vision for our district for a better tomorrow. Would you give us 3 to 4 hours on Saturday, February the 2nd, in order to help us to build that vision? When we did that and sent out personal emails to everyone, people showed up that had never showed up before. In my district, there was one club of 16 does great work, but they do not know that Lions exist beyond their city limits. Do you have clubs like that in your area? All they know is their club and what their club does, and that's great. But there's 16, but that president showed up. And as we were talking, he says, I showed up today because I got this email that said my opinion was important, and you wanted me to help to build a vision for a better tomorrow. I've never been at a district meeting before. Y'all are going to have to explain to me how this works. He had brilliant ideas, and we would have never invited him had we invited the regulars who we already knew. I went to South Alabama, and I facilitated a Build a Vision meeting down there for the district governor. There was a young lady that showed up, and as we began to talk and have our discussions, you could tell that she was a little new, but I didn't know how new. And at some point in time in the discussion, she says, I'm Lion Jane. I'm the Leo Club advisor. I've joined my club a month ago, but I got this email that invited me to this meeting, and I'm learning so much. And I really think I have some things to contribute about the Leo clubs. No one would have invited generally Lion Jane because she's only been around a month. But if someone will show enough interest to come to your Build a Vision meeting, then they become a prospect for being on your cabinet, and you finding a way to involve them. And before we finished our meeting in 34A that we're fixing to talk about, at the end we adjourned, and there was 3 or 4 people standing around in the corner and began to talk with the district governor and says, I'd like to get in line to be the vice district governor. And what does it take? And so the district governor was explaining all the steps. They lined themselves up because they were excited that they had an opportunity to build the vision, and they wanted to implement the plan. And so they lined themselves up for the next 4 years as to who would be the vice district governors. And they're staying in line, they're staying engaged. My advice to you on Build a Vision is to open your eyes, invite everyone. The worst problem you have is 100 people show up. And if that were to show up, if that were to happen, dance on the tables with them. It's okay. I think that your best bet is to throw a wide net and see who responds. As you come together and you begin to talk, and you've set your room up so that each table has maybe 5 or 6 chairs where that you can have some small group discussions. At times, you have plenty of butcher paper where that every idea is important. So everything that is said by anyone at that meeting is recorded and written on that butcher paper. And that's a good role for your district governor. They can be listening to all the ideas and know what the district is wanting to accomplish. Let them know that the rules are that there is no silly idea. Every idea is important, and that we've never done it that way. It's not acceptable, and it's the fastest way out the door, because we'll throw you out if you're a negative Nelly. Negative Nellies are not going to do well in our Build a Vision meetings. And so just set the rules up front. And then we begin to talk about expectations just to get people talking. And so you go to the tables and you ask, what do Lions and club officers expect from their district governor team? And let them discuss that at the group at the table for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. And then you have them report out to you. Because as a district governor, if you know what the visionaries, the 35 or 40 people that come together that wants to be part of your success, believe that you should do, you can meet and exceed their expectations. And you will be known as the best district governor ever because you met their expectations. When I was serving as the international director and I was invited somewhere to speak, about a month ahead of time, I'd call the governor and say, tell me about your district convention coming up. What do you want me to help you to accomplish? And when they would tell me what their expectations were, I could meet those expectations and I could exceed those expectations. But when I don't know what they're expecting, it's just a shot in the dark. And so this is a very important question. Don't delete it. And then let them tell you. If they say, well, we're really would like the district governor and the district governor team to be more involved with helping us with service than coming and being a sage on the stage. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change the way that I do things and make sure I'm going to add some service projects. I'm going to take and not be the sage on the stage. I'm going to be a whole lot more conversational and a lot less lecturing when I go out to meet with clubs. The next question that you're going to ask under expectations, in the same way, the table discussion report out, is what do Lions and club officers expect from their zone chairs? And what you're going to find out is a lot of people don't know who their zone chair is or what to expect. Some will even ask, what is a zone chair? So it's a great opportunity for you to begin to educate the Lions that are there about the role of a zone chair and what you envision them doing. And really, a zone chair is a district governor to 4 or 5 clubs, and they should be doing the same thing and have the same expectations for those 4 or 5 clubs that the district governor team has for the 35, 40, 50 clubs that you have in your district. And then finally, ask the question, what do we expect of Lions clubs? Now, why is this question important, you would ask? These visionaries are going to tell you what they believe a good Lions club should be doing. So when you go out to talk and you've got one of those clubs that's a little marginal, and we all have them, in the past, the district governor's gone out and says, well, Lions Club International expects that you'll do A, B, C. And the members are thinking, well, go to hell at Lions Clubs International. It doesn't matter what someone in Oak Brook thinks. But now when your visionaries have set these expectations, you can tell all the clubs. The visionaries that come together said, these are the qualities of a good club. And every club should evaluate themselves in accordance with this list of good qualities that have been identified. And if there's a shortcoming, I'm here to help. Which message is going to be better received when you go out to talk as a district governor team? The one that says Lions Clubs International wants, or this is what our district visionaries have said, and I'm here to help. And so the expectations, this section will probably take you maybe 20 to 30 minutes to work through. But there's a few things that are happening. Teams are forming at those tables. People are getting comfortable talking and realizing that nobody's going to shoot their ideas down or laugh at them for saying something silly. And these are 3 fairly easy questions so that whoever's facilitating your meeting can work whatever's said into the conversation and act like it's the best idea since sliced bread. So far, you're doing great. Your visionaries that are at that meeting are beginning to settle into routine. And that's when you're going to move to the future. 5 years from now, if a former member called to inquire about your club, what would you like to tell them about changes for the better that have been made? And how have those changes been shared across the district? What you're going to hear, and during this session, from a lot of people is, I want to tell them that we've grown to 50 members, or I want to tell them that that service project that we had that nobody liked, we're not doing it anymore. But also you're going to hear some great ideas. This is where that one district come up with the idea of having a virtual Leo club for homeschool students. Isn't that amazing? I'd never thought about it. Then someone else begins to talk about, I'd like to tell them that we have identified every diabetic child in our county, and we are sending them to a diabetic children's camp. Or I would like to tell them that we're testing the vision of every student in the school system annually and buying glasses for those who need glasses. And they're beginning to dream, and the crazier the dream is, the better off it is. And you're just writing all this down, and it's great. And people are beginning to help you to build that vision of some long-term goals for your district. I know that you've only got 1 year, but your year is going to lay the foundation for the district governors behind you to continue to build upon, because 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road, what you've done at your Build a Vision meeting is going to be of great importance. I'm going to stop there. If anyone has any questions so far, jump in and ask me.
PID Jerome, that's a great idea. For Hawaii, where we have a travel problem cost, would a Zoom session with the district be acceptable?
Zooms, Gary, that's a great question. And Zoom sessions are great with breakout rooms. And so you put everybody in a breakout room and then the same breakout room every time. So they're building that camaraderie. And in Hawaii, you might make those breakout rooms match the different islands. So you're getting people to talk about what's going on there and then report it back out to the group. And so that's a very good question. And Zoom is very acceptable. Other questions? In my business, silence gives its consent. So y'all are consenting that I move on. As we move on, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always what you've always got. And to be quite honest, Henry Ford is correct. And the Lions have got results, but not always good results. And so by changing this thought process, and this global membership approach is not a new program, it is a thought process. It's a paradigm shift where we're shifting from district governor goals to district goals. Because if it's my goal and I'm trying to sell 20 people on that, then I've got a hard sell job. But if it's their goals and they've helped me to build those goals, then they're already bought in because it's their ideas. And that's what we're doing. And we're going to make your job as a district leader, the chief executive officer of your district, easier by having this Build a Vision meeting. The whole purpose is for us to identify our strengths and leverage them, to understand our weaknesses and begin to manage and minimize those, to find our opportunities are out there and to take advantage of those opportunities, and also find the threats and minimize those threats. And when we first started this, we had no idea that COVID-19 was going to be a threat. No one mentioned it at any of the meetings that I attended. So there's threats out there that we do not know, but I can tell you, if we have already built that team, we have our plan of action and we've started building success, whatever threat comes up, we can manage, we can minimize, and we can move on. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to build that core group of people, 35 to 40 people, that no matter what happens, they are our visionaries and they know that we're marching to better times. Now, as we continue that, recognizing the truth about ourselves is the starting point of all change. And that's what your district is doing with this Build a Vision. You're beginning to recognize the truth about yourselves, and Lions are beginning to talk honestly about ourselves. And so the first thing you're going to do is ask them at their table to talk about the strengths, the things that clubs and Lions and zones and do well in your district, and make that list. And the longer the list is, that's your strengths, the better off that we are. And then we're going to talk about our weaknesses. What can we improve upon? Communication is usually a weakness. District engagement by clubs, usually a weakness. Lack of interest by zone chairs. They're going to identify those things for you. And as you're talking about these weaknesses, be honest with them. We're not going to be able to improve every weakness this coming year. And after they've all reported out, if we could only pick 2 to work on this year, which 2 would you think would be most important? And let the group of visionaries tell you which ones that they want to work on during your year to improve upon. And they're going to then be bought in to working on those weaknesses. And if they say, I think that we need to work on our zone chairs and get them more involved, let's circle that one. I think we need to work on communication, maybe a district newsletter or a zone newsletter, circle that one. And those are the 2 that you're going to build into your plan as you build your plan, because you can go back to all your visionaries and say, I listened, I heard you, and this is what we're going to do for those 2 weaknesses that we've got this year. Next year, we'll identify other weaknesses and we'll pick 2 or 3 to work on. But we understand we can't do everything in 1 year, but we are headed toward better. And then the opportunities, and there's opportunities out there that we don't even know that are opportunities, but our Lions do, because we've got 35 or 40 individuals who are well connected in their communities, they're well connected in their clubs, they know what the opportunities are. For example, and I'm gonna break the news to you, that Lions Quest and Lions Club membership department are working together now to figure out how do we use Lions Quest to build new clubs that specialize in supporting Lions Quest. And Lions Quest, we've traditionally thought went in schools, but it's social emotional learning. And students, young people who have low self-esteem, they have low people skills, they have a low vision for the community, usually get in trouble. They're either suspended from school, they go to an alternative school, they're involved with the juvenile justice system. What if Lions took Lions Quest, went to the juvenile justice community, the alternative schools, and began to talk with them about using Lions Quest to help these students at risk think more highly of themselves, help their self-esteem, help them in developing relationships with people and making better decisions, help them to understand the negative impact of drugs and alcohol, help them to understand what it's like to serve the community through service learning in a 16-week course. Would we be rehabilitating our youth and those that are in alternative school systems? There's all kinds of opportunities out there. And as we identify those opportunities, then we have to begin to look for the resources and be real creative to solve those. And we have some threats too. Our association's getting older. Our average age goes up every year. And so what do we do to be more attractive to younger Lions? If that's a threat, then the next question as you're building your vision is, what do we do to attract younger Lions? How do we help a young Lion that's just out of college or maybe in college build a resume so they can get a job that they're looking for? How do we take and provide young people an opportunity to develop leadership skills? How can we use the Lions Learning Center as a way to offset that threat of an aging population? There's so many threats out there, but there's so many creative solutions too. And we have to look around and ask, and as we build our plan, we're going to do that. And so we've spent probably an hour talking about strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And when we finish that, we're about 2 hours into our meeting and we need a stretch break. We may even need a meal depending on what time you planned it. If you started at 10 and went planning to go to 2, then you need a lunch break. If you started at 1 and going to 4, you definitely need maybe 10 or 15 minutes where the folks can get their caffeine, they can get a little sugar, and I know we're supposed to focus on diabetes, but all of us like cookies, right? And so get us a snack and get us some refreshments, get us a stretch, and then there's going to be some creative discussion that goes on as people are milling around, and that's what we're looking for, because that's when you're auditioning and watching who works well with others, who works well with a group, who's had some great ideas, who do I really want to be on my team? How do I find that right mix of people? Because you've invited everyone in your district there and you have a good group of people. And out of those 40, you're going to have people volunteering to be zone chairs and also volunteering to get in line to be the vice district governor. We finished that part, we've taken a stretch, and I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. Jimmy Dean says that. And that's what we as Lions have got to do. We've got to be more flexible than we've ever been before. And we've got to have enough confidence to adjust our sails. A club does not always have to meet on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month to be a Lions Club. And, you know, when I was traveling as a ID, I got to one place, this older gentleman come up to me and he says, Jerome, my club's just dying because the city council moved their meeting to our club night. And we had a lot of members who were on the city council. I said, well, why don't you move your meeting night to another night? Oh no, our charter says that we meet on the 1st and 3rd Thursday of every month, and they took our night. I said, I don't think your charter says that. I think that you can change your meeting times if you like. No, it's written in the charter. I've read it, it's written in the charter. I said, well, I think you might want to go back and look at it and maybe move to another night if that's a conflict that's causing your club to have problems. No, we'd have to re-charter and get a new charter. And it's just some people have no concept of thinking outside the box or changing in order to solve problems. But we as leaders and the group that's here today, I believe, understand that we're going to adjust our sails. We're going to do some things a little different. We're going to build a team. We're going to all get in this boat and we're going to row towards success. And what is success? Success is, in Constitution Area 1, serving 500 million people, actually around the world, 500 million people. Success is having positive membership growth in the first time in 40 years in CA1. Success is finding leaders that are lined up to become the district governor. Success is whatever you and your team of visionaries define it. And that's what you're moving into after this short break. You're going to begin to talk about your goals, each of these focus areas, new clubs, new members, membership satisfaction, leadership support. And we're going to give you the questions to ask. You're going to have SMART goals. And those SMART goals are attainable and realistic, and they're time bound, they're measurable, they're specific, and we're going to have some accountability. Too often we've said, Lions is a volunteer organization. You can't make them do anything. I'm not asking you to make them do anything. But if Joe or Jane steps up and says, I want to be your GMT, or I want to be the vice district governor, then they have put themselves in a position to be held accountable. Because as a pastor and national director who has accepted the responsibility of being the global action team leader for all of Constitution Area 1, I'm accountable. I'm accountable to our executive officers. I'm accountable to the area leaders. I'm accountable to our district governors and our club officers. I must fulfill the responsibility that I have accepted. And each of you are accountable as district governor-elects to our executive officers and to your members and to your district governor team. Yes, we're volunteers, but we've placed ourselves on the stage and in the spotlight. And because of that, we sometimes have to do things that we normally would not do. Why? Because we have accepted a responsibility to lead our association to new levels of success. And I believe that my area leaders, all 15 of them, hold me accountable. You just don't think they do? Let me miss a deadline. Let me miss calling a meeting or sending out a meeting notice. They get on me pretty bad. And that's okay, because working together, we are making a difference. You're then going to go back to your table discussions for about 10 minutes. Let them discuss, why are new clubs valuable? Why is that question valuable? Because some people, and you're out of those 40 visionaries, have no ideas and have never thought about new clubs. They've only worked in their little club. And so this discussion then begins to turn to communities that don't have Lions clubs. What Lions clubs do, what's the value of having Lions club in the community? And where can we start new clubs? Once again, you've got 40 people there that have personal relationships with people in different communities. And Lion Gary, you've got yours grouped by an island, and that 5 or 6 people says, I know somebody that is over there at such and such beach, and I think that they could help us to start a club there. And they begin to let their juices flow, and the wisdom of 40 people is much better than the wisdom of 4 or 5 advisors. And they begin to make that list at their table. And then talk about specialty clubs. What would be a good specialty club? How can we be successful with a specialty club? And let them begin to talk about specialty clubs. And quite often we think that specialty clubs are limited to ethnic clubs, and they're not. I love Nepalese clubs. I love Japanese clubs. I love whatever kind of clubs ethnic. But just think for a second, if we had Friends of the Library that focused only on literacy skills, or we had a club that focused only on diabetes, educating, empowering people with diabetes to manage their disease and raise funds to eradicate it, they would be a wonderful club. But their focus would just be on that one thing. And then what training and resources are needed. And folks will be more than honest with you when they begin to talk about that. And then show them how many clubs you've chartered in the last 5 years and let them help you to set that goal of how many is chartered this year. When you begin to get those tables reported out, you're going to get probably 7, 8, maybe 10 communities where the people, different tables think that Lions clubs can be formed. While you've got the group there, let them pick the first 3. Where do you think the first 3 would be the easiest? Because then collectively, they're going to say town A, town B, town C. And so when you begin to put your plan together, you've already got those people bought into town A, town B, town C. And if there's a specialty club that they really are passionate about, you've got that already noted too. Town A, a diabetes club. Town B, a traditional club. Town C, Lions Quest Club. And then as you talk about training, most people that you're meeting will tell you, I'd love to help you start a new club, but I have no idea how to do that. And so what does that tell us in that area 4? It tells us that immediately we need to start doing some training on how to form a club. And so you're identifying what your training is going to be during your year. As we're going through, you're identifying where that you can start clubs. And then at the end, you're going to say, we've averaged starting 2 clubs per year for the last 5 years. How many clubs do you think we can start next year? Someone there is going to be drunk. And they're going to say, I think we can start 12. There's 12 cities up there. And somewhere between 12 and 2 is a number everybody can reach. And you as a facilitator, or whoever your facilitator is, has to find a consensus. Because generally speaking, what I did when somebody said 12, I looked at the group and I said, do you think 12 is realistic? Because we have to have SMART goals. Is that realistic? And somebody says, no, that's not realistic. We've been doing 2, but we probably can do a little better than that. And somebody says, well, do you think we can do 4? And they debate 2 to 4, and then eventually they settle on 3. That's fine. You just let the group talk it through, because whatever they say is going to be the district goal. And you as the chief executive officer of the district are going to help those visionaries reach their goal. We're going to do the same with Focus Area 2. Why invite people to join your club? And they're going to tell you why that inviting people is important. What's the best way for a club to invite new members? And you're going to hear a million ideas, from Just Ask to membership growth events, to inviting them to service projects, to inviting your friends and family. And then ask, does your club host a membership growth event? And how often, and how do you do that? And let them begin to teach one another about how that their clubs are bringing members in. This has nothing to do with your plan as much as using these visionaries to learn from one another and build that excitement, because someone's getting an idea that they're going to carry back to their club, and they're going to begin to build success. And it's going to help your current district governor during his or her year. It's going to help you. And then what training or assistance is needed. And your Lions there are going to tell you what they need to be trained on in order to bring more members into their club. And whatever they tell you is great, because Focus Area 4, leadership support, is taking notes, and it's going to be built into your leadership development plan. And then you're going to talk about, in the last 5 years, we've averaged adding 275 members in our district. We've had losses of 265, and our average growth has been -10. 275. And then they're going to begin to talk about, well, we got 50 clubs, and if 50 clubs brought in 5 people or 6 people, we do 300. And whatever they say is fine, because we're just letting them build the goals. You're going to refine them as a district governor team at some point in time, but you're going to rely heavily on what they're doing and let them build that goal. If somebody says, I think we can add 1,000 members, and you've only been adding 275, it's a time to ask the group to find some, is that realistic, and let them begin to debate that. This is the most informative and the most beneficial meeting that you will have for all of your time as district governor, because you're getting your Lion visionaries involved. And then the third is remotivate members with fellowship and exciting service. How do you know a Lion is engaged? And what you're doing there is, once again, the tables are teaching one another. And somebody's saying, I never thought about that. An engaged Lion is at all the service projects, or an engaged Lion is at half of the service projects, or an engaged Lion is at 75% of the meetings, or an engaged lion is bringing members in. You're just letting them discover. And this is a discovery learning. And why is new member orientation important? And someone there at the table is going to say, I've never had new membership orientation. I'll tell you, when I joined the Moulton Lions Club in 1989, I'd gone to about 3 meetings after I joined. And about the 3rd meeting, the president pulled a lion's pin out of his pocket and he slid it down the table and says, here's a pin. Wear it and the tail twister won't find you anymore. That was my orientation. And so let them discover what a good orientation is and what it should consist of, because they're fixing to tell you, and they're going to tell your leadership team, and we're going to do whatever they say as Lions, because our job is much easier when we're meeting their expectations instead of trying to pull them along. And how does service projects help retain members? Because most folks have never thought about the correlation between service projects and membership satisfaction. But when we ask this question, they begin to think about it and they discuss it, then all of a sudden our Lion leaders that are visionaries there at your meeting are beginning to put A and B together and say, okay, we won't have members drop out if we have some hands-on service projects. We won't have members drop out if they understand Lions and they're properly orientated. We won't have them drop out if they're engaged in our meetings. And then how can we re-engage members that stop participating? This is the most important question in this area, because if your Lions tell you how to bring people back and you build that into your plan and you're successful and you've helped retention by keeping people, you're miles and miles ahead. And at the end, you're going to tell them that for the last 5 years, we've averaged dropping 260 people a year. Do you think we can improve that by 5%, 10%, if we use all these ideas you shared and let them right there tell you what that goal should be? I really think that about a 5% improvement on drops every year is realistic. 10 is a stretch. Anything beyond that is not realistic. And this year in the United States, or CA1, we are averaging about a 4 to 5% improvement month to month to month. And we're seeing positive membership growth. We're at about plus 2,200 this morning. And I really think by the end of the month, we're going to be somewhere close to plus 2,500, which should give us enough momentum to carry us through the dreaded December drops and end the year somewhere very close to zero. It may be minus 250. It may be that plus 1, but minus 250 is a whole lot better than the minus 3,000 or 4,000 that we've had for the last 40 years. And so we're making strides, but let your group talk about those things, give them the information to make informed decisions, and they're shaping your year as the governor, because these 40 people now at this point in time have invested about 3 hours of their time. They're engaged, they're open. This is not your plan anymore. They've bought in, it's their plan, and they see it coming together. And then focus area 4, you've got all of the training from the first 3, but what programs, seminars, or training should be offered to club officers? Let them tell you. And you're going to give them about 10 minutes to discuss at their table, and then you're going to take about 10 minutes to report out. What's the best format for delivering training? And you're going to have some people there that say, I just hate Zoom. I hate Zoom. I want us to get back to meeting in person. Well, how often should we meet in person for training? Where should it be in our district? Our district's pretty big. Lion Gary says we can't all fly to the Big Island for training. And so you let everybody talk, and you end up deciding that maybe 2 or 3 times a year, there should be some live in-person training, a district convention, a midwinter conference, something of that nature. And if the district hosts a Lions leadership institution, who should attend? And that gets them to thinking about doing some Lions leadership institutions, and a regional Lions leadership institution, RLLI. Or as we did in my district, we did a DELI, a District Enhanced Learning Institute. We pulled the curriculum from all the other institutes. We had 25 people who agreed to come once a month for 3 months on a Saturday, and everyone graduated. And out of that 25, 18 of them was involved in the cabinet the following year as zone chairs or committee chairs or as district governor, vice district governor candidates. It's doable. We just had, our Lions are hungry. They're hungry, and we just got to feed them with some excellent training. We've got to equip them. We've got to encourage them. We've got to love them. And then we got to empower them to run and do the things that they're passionate about. And what other type of support can be provided to our leaders? When all of those questions are answered, you're done for the day with questions. In order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision. And so recap some of the vision, some of the things that you have pulled out of that, and then begin to talk about collaboration. Everybody's got to come together at this global membership approach. We're honored that the 40 of you would have given us 3 hours and 15 minutes so far to build this vision. We're going to be better because of the work that you've done today. Your ideas are so important. You know how to brag on folks. This is the next step, and this is not in the slide. Mark, I've put it in last night. Everybody needs a 3x5 card. And when you get to this slide, you give all the visionaries a 3x5 card, and you say, each of us have a different passion. Some like service, some like membership, some like leadership, some like new clubs. And I need to know what your passion is. Write your name down and what you're passionate about and which of the 4 teams you want to volunteer to be on. And you just write new clubs, new members, membership satisfaction, or leadership training. You let all of the visionaries fill those out and give to you. You've got 40 visionaries, you're going to get about 25 cards back. There's 15 that are going to volunteer for anything, and that's okay because you've held your audition. Some of them struck out and you don't want them on your baseball team. And they've eliminated themselves by not telling you where their passion is. But let's say we've got 32 people and they're evenly divided, and you've got 8 people that want to work on new clubs. Could you give then that 8 people the responsibility of writing the plan of action for new clubs? You got 8 people that are interested in bringing members into existing clubs. And you say, you 8 people, I'll select you a chairman, and I want you to write the plan and give to me for how we're going to bring members into existing clubs. You're going to do the same for membership satisfaction and new service, new fellowship. Those 8 folks are going to do that. And then your 8 people that like to train, you've heard what training is needed. Will you write the plan of action for us training during the next year? Then those 4 plans of action all come together and they become your district plan of action. And you haven't written anything. You have just simply taken everyone's ideas. You've tied and bundled them together. You've smiled and said, you visionaries are great. Thank you so very much. And when you go out as a district governor, you say nothing about what I want. It's about what we did. Our district visionaries have put this plan together. Our district visionaries have identified these needs. Our district visionaries have recommended these steps for your club. And then it takes the bullseye off of you and it puts it on all the district visionaries all coming together. Communicate the SWOT results to the clubs and district cabinet. And most importantly, send the SWOT results, everything that was on those butcher papers that you've written down, have somebody type them up and send them out to everyone that was a visionary there. So they know that their ideas are valuable and that what they have said was important enough, not only to write on the paper, but to type out and to share with everyone. Talk with your council chair and your global action team in your multiple district, get some of their ideas, go to the Lions Club's Learning Center, the Lions Learning Center, and take action plans to achieve district goals and succession planning course. Pull that action plan together, and then your job is going to be to polish it off and make it all work together real well, and then mobilize that plan for implementation and goal achievement. And when you follow those steps, you're going to find success at levels that your district has never had before. I'm going to quit sharing so I can see your faces. And I hope I didn't put anyone to sleep. I'm awful excited about this process. And I know that when you complete it in your districts are going to be as excited as I am because I've seen it happen time and time and time again. I'm going to hush, Mark. Questions, comments, or concerns?
I just want to point out that I am uploading the PowerPoint that Jerome used, less his one additional slide. And I also uploaded a Build a Vision booklet that you folks can use. And I will send this out with the recording. Does anyone have any questions for Jerome? Mary Ann? She's finding her mute button.
I thought I put everybody to sleep.
No, I actually found it quite interesting, and I'm glad that I asked you to come and do this section.
Can I just make a statement, Mark?
Sure.
Jerome, I got to tell you, for me, this is the most exciting thing I've heard from Lions in 100 years. This is fabulous. I believe this is our direction if we are going to expand our organization. And man, you got to promote it here. I'm definitely. I'll get with my. I'm a second, but I'll get with my first. And this is something that we will do in our district. Guarantee you that. Guarantee you that.
If I can help you, wait, Drew, which district is your district?
I'm in L4. I'm Mark's district, so I got a little extra help. But no, Craig and I, we've been talking about this for a while now, or something very similar. And I think this is really a great opportunity. So thank you. I just wanted to say thanks.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Mary Ann?
Okay, I'm unmuted. You can hear me, I hope.
Yes.
So I had a question for Jerome on the SMART. Will you tell me again what the 5 letters stand for, please?
Yes, so this is a pop quiz. I think it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time bound.
Measurable, attainable, realistic, I had, and time bound. Great, thank you. I appreciate that.
And there's a course at the Lions Learn Center on goal setting that goes over the 5 parts of it, the SMART goals.
Great, thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I don't know.
Well,
Drew said it was the best thing he'd heard in 100 years. He only looked about 95 to me. So I don't know how they've been listening 100 years.
Jerry, what's your question?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think this presentation has been fantastic, and I would love to use this stuff in helping to motivate people to do the things that they need to do in Lionism, and not just go there to chit chat about what they did last weekend. I find that some of the clubs I visited when I was a zone chair had no plans on advancing members or anything. And I think having this kind of a presentation would probably motivate them into doing something good for the club and not just go there to have dinner and chit chat. So I appreciate the whole thing, Jerome.
Oh, well, thank you. We did a pilot last year with zones and clubs, which was very successful. And the questions have to be tailored just a little bit. Instead of what do you expect of a district governor, what do you expect of a zone chair, or what do you expect of a club president, and things of that nature. But you can alter the questions just a little bit. And this process, build a team, build a vision, build a plan, build success, will work at club level, zone level, district level. But more important than that, it will work with your diabetes committee. It'll work with your vision committee. It'll work with whatever committee's out there. If you can build a team in your district, they build a vision for a better tomorrow. They come up with a plan and they work their plan, they're going to find success. And so this global membership approach needs to be incorporated into everything that we do, from the club level all the way through the multiple district level.
Thank you very much. I agree with that 100%.
And I should tell you that if you need people in your area to do this kind of work for you, whether it be facilitation or training, reach out to Jerome and I. We know people that can help you, and we can get you in touch with the right people to do this. Not that we won't do it for you, but if we can find somebody closer to you that can do it and they're good, then that's beneficial to everybody.
I don't mind if you have some facilitators that you don't some of us are not facilitators. That's just not in our wheelhouse, and it's okay. If someone here says, I just don't think I can do that, but I'd like Lion Joe to facilitate my meeting. You call me, you call Mark. We'll go through this with Lion Joe and talk with him, or Lion Jane and talk with her about how to facilitate the meeting and how to set up the room, how to keep the conversation going. If this is something that's outside of your comfort zone, it's okay. Just when you identify who you want to do that, you let us know. We want to equip them and empower them, to encourage them, and make sure that your Build a Vision meeting is the best meeting that y'all have ever had in your district.
Well, I am very grateful that you all shared your time this morning with us. And I promised you that I would always keep us on time and on track. So I think we've done that. I could have done the presentation that Jerome did, but it wouldn't be as 1/10 as exciting as he made it sound. And so I want to bring you the best people out there to help you achieve your goals. And we're here for you. I know you hear people say that all the time, but let me tell you, I've known Jerome now better for the past 6 months. And I know that if he says he wants to come out and help you, he will come out and help you. And I think it's important to take advantage of these people that want to help. And I'm one of those people you can take advantage of. So just call on us, and we're there to help. You know, and if we can't help you right when you call, we'll call you back and help you. I will send everybody the recording. I will include the booklet and the presentation that Jerome did. And if there are no other questions, you guys go have a great day.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.